focused, you got to get serious, and we got to be consistent in our personalities, consistent in our attitudes, consistent in everything we do. Does that make sense to everybody? Well, it might not, because none of y'all writing it down right here. You got that word consistent is critical when it comes to building your business, okay? And so building your Primerica business. So what you got to do is learn how to turn the clicker on, okay, is know that this is a business, right? I'm gonna hit this, but you're gonna hear Brett talk about this all today. This is a business. When I look at guys like Jake that's on fire, Collis, all these guys, I'm telling you, they know this ain't some job. And they also know it's fun, but at the end of the day, it is a business, right? You got to run this like a business. Now, as a result of that, the challenge is, when we say lots to lose, gain and lots to lose, well, see, here's what a lot of people think. A lot of people think, well, it's not that big a deal because I don't have to put up a lot of money. See, if you put up $1 million, $2 million to buy a McDonald's franchise, you're thinking, I got a lot to lose if it doesn't succeed, right? And yet you still see morons that buy McDonald's franchise, other franchises, and they go out of business because they don't run it like it's a business. They think they're at a job. They don't understand they're running a business, right? And that's why McDonald's sends you to McDonald's University for 6 months to make sure that you understand everything you're doing. You got to work behind the counter. You got to work in the field, on the floor. You got to clean dishes. You got to make French fries. You got to do all the crap. Why? Because they want you to understand what it's like to run a McDonald's business. You got to learn the same thing in Primerica. Does that make sense? That's the reason our field training program. I mean, I get questioned all the time. I don't have it in my base shop. I've never had it in my career. But I hear people say, well, you know, why should I go out and get trained until I get licensed? You don't have to. But I personally would never train you because it tells me two things. Number one, you have no character because you don't give a crap about anybody but yourself, or you'd want to go across the kitchen table and help everybody you know. I mean, I don't know how many sales you made. You made a ton before you got licensed. I made 17 sales before I got licensed. I recruited 10 people, and my manager, my trainer, trained all of them. That was another 60 or 70 sales that I didn't make a dime off of. But you know what? I had enough intelligence to understand we're building a business. I'm not going to worry about stepping over the pennies to, you know, a lot of y'all step over the, you step over the dollars to get to pennies because you don't understand the concept of building a business. And so when I got started, you know what I said? I know this. My expense, my fees is not going to college for 4 years and paying $50,000, $60,000, $75,000, then going back and get a master's, doctorate degree. My fee is not paying $1 million to a franchise. My fee is basically getting field trained by somebody who knows what I'm doing. So when I'm finished, all my friends know what I'm doing, and they've seen it from a professional. I've got trained. I got a higher contract, but more importantly, all my friends got help. I wasn't securities licensed for almost 2 years. Now, it wasn't because I was that dumb. It was because I never took the test. I was so busy building my business, and I didn't care, but I still sent my manager out there, and they still wrote mutual funds for everybody. All my friends got help. That business got transferred back over to me because our system is the perfect system. You got to understand this. If you don't build, I'm going to talk hard today about sense of urgency. Man, we've got 2 months to go before the year's over. You know what the challenge for a lot of people in this room is? You started and stopped. You started and stopped. You started the year off, woo, woo, like you were going to take over the world. And then every little blip of the road, something got underneath your skin or something bothered you, and you stopped and you had an issue or this and that, but your business just keep on blowing and going. You lost focus. And when you lose focus, you lose energy. And when you lose energy, you don't go anywhere. Does that make sense? You got to stay focused on a consistent basis, day in, day out. Well, part of that's knowing what you're building. What's it going to look like when you're done? And understand the whole concept. So for me, when I got started, all I wanted, everybody I knew, I wanted everybody to see Primerica. And if I wouldn't even thought twice about it, couldn't even imagine telling my trainer, oh, no, I don't want to go see anybody till I get licensed. What's that telling me? That's that telling them about my character. I'm selfish. I'm greedy. I don't give a crap about my friends. If you really believe and understand what we're doing, I paid $400 million in death claims. $400 million in my career. That's a lot of death claims. I'm not sure if people should buy policies from us, okay? $400 million. What if you know, those people, I guarantee at least half of those sales, maybe a third, were from people that took a manager out in the field, got field trained, and they were not licensed. And they didn't get compensated other than bonuses. I bet I'm right about that. Now, what if those people wouldn't have done that? Think about all those widows and widowers, all those small children, because of somebody's greed, lack of character, they didn't take a manager out there. But even this, look how much that stymies your career. But let's even go further. Let's go to greed. Let's go to money. Let's go to finance, because I think I'm doing pretty well. I'm already over 300-something thousand income this month. So I'm going to probably finish about 360, 370 for the month. So I think I know how to make money. So if I think this is a good concept, you might want to think it must be a pretty good concept. So let me explain this to you. Let's say 6 training cells, right? So let's say I recruit Collis Temple, and Collis Temple to go from a rep to a district, he's got to make 6 training cells and get 3 recruits. Now the purpose is not getting 6 training cells so we can screw Collis out of 6 training cells. You got to learn to explain this if you're going to build your business. They got to know what they're going to lose if they don't do this the right way. Okay, so my purpose is to train Collis so that when he's done being trained, he's got a business that he's seen a pro show him how to run a business. And part of our business is field training, going across that kitchen table, making a winning presentation, overcoming objection, closing techniques, being able to close the sale, get referrals, deliver a policy, recruit at the kitchen table. See, how valuable is that if you want to own a business? I mean, how valuable is that to sit with somebody that knows how to build a business, going to go with you 6, 8, 10, 15, 20 times? See, we ought to look at it like this. What if you got a good market, not a great market, and it's a 3-to-1 ratio, which it is basically. You got to see 3 people make 1 sale usually. So let's say I got to go with you on 15 to 18 sales. See, in reality, I'm taking my time to train you. And let's say I get 6 sales out. I could say I wasted 18 hours. No, I trained you. I didn't wait. It ain't even the 6 sales I made training you. That ain't no money. But listen to this now. You got trained. We developed some clients. I recruited you 3 people. Now let's say all 3 of those people are going to make the process work. They're not, but let's say they are. How many training sales they got to get? 6. How many sales is that altogether then? 18. So let's say Collis is so stupid, so greedy, so lack of character that he says, I'm going to wait till I'm licensed. Well, first of all, I swear to God, strike me dead. I personally would never work with him. I would never work with somebody that told me that. Because I don't work with low character people that don't care about anybody but themselves. I just don't work with them. You can't build a business with greedy, selfish people. You can't do it. Your business will not be solid. You got to build your business with people that care about other people, love other people, want to help other people. Does that mean? I mean, you really do. And so let's say Collis, though, says, well, I'm going to wait. Well, first of all, how's he going to get trained? I ain't going to train him. And nobody with a brain in their head is going to train him. First of all, nobody wants to be around him, because they know what kind of low character he has, or he's just a total greedy person. He doesn't really care about his friends, neighbors, and relatives. He cares about himself. That's all he cares about, right? Those people don't make it in business, because we're in the people business. You'll see this in a minute. But let's say that happens, right? So I wait. I train Collis on 6. Everybody got me on after he's licensed. He's still going to split them with me. So he's still not making any more money because he's not a district leader. So he's going to split all this. So he's going to still make the same money or less, and he doesn't get his bonus. And worst case, he sets a precedence for whose business? His business. I didn't do it that way, so I ain't got to worry about this. But he's going to build his business this way. Let me show you what happened then. So how many people do you recruit? 3. How many training sales they got to get? 6. That's 18 sales he passed up, and that's not all. What if he recruits 10 people the next year? What's that? That's 60 sales he passed up. What if he recruits 100 people in his career? That's 600 sales. And he's going to be so stupid and so greedy and so selfish to worry about 6? If those 6 sales are all you're going to make, you should never join the company. Never. Have I got my point across on that issue? Okay. I mean, guys, this is not, you can't build this business other than just let it all hang out, give it everything you got, and just understand the system's the system that works for everybody, and we're not trying to catch one person, catch the other. I did it, Blake did it, Bubba did it, Ray Glace did it, Yvette did it, we all did it. Why? Because it's the perfect system, and it works for who? Everybody who works the system. So you got to think about building your business, right? Challenge, seeing it as a business. Seeing yourself as a business owner. Okay, now think about this. See, versus an employee, what does that mean? Like today, look at the environment today. It can be good or it can be bad based on how you see yourself. Now, if you're me, how do you think I feel about this meeting? I'm jacked. People sitting on the floor, people taking no people all over the place. I'm thinking, whoa. I'm looking around all the vice presidents in here. I'm looking all around all the potential $100,000, $250,000, $500,000 millionaires in this room. See, because I look at this as a business. Now, if you're an employee and you got to go to a meeting on Saturday, you know what you're thinking about? Oh, crap. And you're thinking about, how can I figure out how to get, and then you're thinking, well, yeah, I came to a meeting. They got the donuts. I didn't like the donuts. They didn't have sprinkles on them, right? Or you're sitting there thinking, I didn't get a seat. Yeah, because you're thinking like an employee. You're not thinking like a business owner saying, wait a minute, they didn't charge me anything to be here. They're not charging me several $1,000s to be trained. Like if I went to a business school, I'd have to pay to be trained. You're going to get trained here. And I even paid to fly the speakers and stuff in. So it's like you're in the positive. You made money today because you didn't have to spend any, and you're getting, everything's been paid for you, right? So you got to see this thing not like an employee, like, and you got to see it once again, not even like a self-employed person. You shouldn't be here today just think, okay, how can I get better? I want you to think about today. How can I? There's the reason I'm so anal when you're taking notes, because how can I get better so I can make people better? This is a key phrase in business. In business, it's not what you can get done, it's what you can get, it's not what you can do, it's what you can get done through others. That's what business is. I haven't made a sale in 15 years, but I make millions of dollars in the financial business because I have a business. So that's what we're talking. What is your business going to look like? Are you going to be still out there personally selling the rest of your entire life, 1 or 2, 3 people? And by the way, if that's the way you want to build it, I'm telling you up front, and if anybody else tells you it's different, tell them kiss your butt. I'm telling you up front, if you want to build your business and all you want's a little mom and pop store and just a couple of agents who don't want nothing, then you know what? There's nothing wrong. If that's what you want, that's fantastic. You can do that at Primerica, okay? So I'm not saying everybody's got to take on what we're talking about. I'm just saying if you want a great life, if you want total freedom, and if you want to be set forever, then we're going to show you how to do that today, okay? So the other thing is, treat this like a business. Work it like it's a job, which means what? Consistency. Several hours. Put the time into it. If you're part-time, you're not going to put 40 hours a week into Primerica, but whatever you put into it as if it was a job, and you really had a job to where if you weren't performing, they would fire you. Everybody got me on that? Let's take Nick Saban. Let's take Les Miles. Are those two pretty good coaches? I think they're great coaches. But if Nick Saban doesn't win, if Les Miles doesn't win, what are they going to do? Fire them. In a real job, not a state job, not a federal job, not something you get tenure and all that kind of BS. In a real job, if you don't perform, what do? They fire you. You got to work Primerica that way. You got to treat it like it's a job, work it like it's a job. Okay, you get up in the morning. Guys, I need you focused, okay? You got to get up in the morning and you got to think, okay, this is my job, okay? But it is your job. At the same time, you treat it like it's a business. It's whose business? Your business. Okay, say it out loud. It's whose business? Mine. Okay, good. And then you think about the fact, remember up front, if I put a ton of money into this thing, would I work this thing differently if it was my business and I put a ton of money into it? So would I get up early or sleep in? I'd get up early. Why? First of all, it's a job. I got to work it like it's a job. I'd be there the whole time. I'd be putting everything in, because if I don't do it, what's going to happen? I'm going to get what? Fired. If it's a business, you're going to lose your business, which means you lose every lost. That's the problem with Primerica. We take it too light. You can't do that. You got to get serious after today, okay? I got serious about this thing. When I quit coaching, I was serious about winning in Primerica. I mean, this dude's fixing to leave a six-figure job. He's got to be serious. Anthony Richard left a pretty decent paying job. You got to be serious around this place, okay, if you're going to win here, right? And then know what business you're in, okay? Look at the business, okay? If this is the business you're in, this will be your focus. If you're in the financial service business, your focus is going to be products. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying you ain't going to get stone filthy rich doing it that way, and you're not going to have freedom, okay? It's just not going to happen, because you're always going to be dealing with consumers for the rest of your entire life, which is not bad. It's just not going to be free. But if your focus is a financial service, you're focused on products. Your focus is in marketing. Your focus is going to be on systems, okay? Op meetings and fast start schools. That's good. That's the only part. But if your focus is leadership, okay, and that's the business you're in, people business, then your focus is going to be on people. So you know what that means? You got to become a people person, which means what? You got to get along with people. You can't, remember John Maxwell, if Bob's got a problem with Sally, if Bob's got a problem with Jim, if Bob's got a problem with James, maybe Bob's the problem. Does that make sense? You can't consistently have problems with people and have issues and think you're in the people business. You got to get along with your upline, your downline, your sidelines. This is a people business. Does that make sense? Everybody with me on that? Okay. And so you got to figure out what biz you're in, okay? So when you're building your business, here's the next thing. I'm going to wrap up and bring Brett up here. What is your responsibility? Okay. That's a dirty word a lot of times in the society we live in. Accountability and responsibility. Stephen Covey, one of the great trainers and writers and motivators in all of American business. Covey said that, you know, and one of the things of 7 habits of highly effective people is being proactive. Okay, write that word down, proactive, which means you act first. You don't react, you proact. That's what it means to be proactive. We should have nobody in the hall, by the way. So somebody be enough leader to get those people in the hall, out of the hall. Huh? Yeah, if there's any empty seats, guys, just walk down now and plop your butt in one of the empty seats. If there's any empty seats, anybody got a seat next to them that's empty? Just walk up. I mean, shy people got skinny kids. I mean, we don't need to help them, guys. Just bring your dumb butts in here and sit down, right? But get everybody out of the hall. I mean, there should be nobody in the hall. First of all, if you got here on time, it wouldn't happen. Okay? But get everybody out of the hall. Get everybody out of the hall and get them up here where they can see and hear. It's silly to waste your time being here and not have a seat, or at least get on the floor. Okay? All right? So, know what you're, so Stephen Covey, he says, being proactive, okay? This, he says you're response able. Here's what he says, you're response able. You're able to control your response. That means that you're a human. You're able to control your emotions. You're able to control how you respond to something. Everybody got me on that? That's what highly effective people do. Highly successful people do. They're proactive. They're response able. Everybody got me? Okay, so here's what you got to ask yourself. What is your responsibility in Primerica? Okay, are you a leader? That's a question. Yes. Is that one of your responsibilities? Yes. Okay, are you a manager? Yes. Are you a coach? Yes. See, you're all three. In Primerica, you're not a leader or a coach or a manager. You're all three. So you got to learn these things, okay? You're not going to build a business. You ought to write this stuff down, guys. You're not going to build a business in Primerica if you don't get great at all three of these things. And you look at all the great leaders. They're great at all these things, okay? So let's look at the definition of these things, right? When you build as a leader, your role, what you're supposed to be doing, your response is to cast a vision. Where are you going to go? Now, once again, obviously the bigger the vision, the more people are going to buy into it. But write down next to this, okay? I'm going to write this down. Your role is to cast a vision. Right above that, this is so important, it's unbelievable. Write down the word integrity. Don't worry about the definition. I'm going to give you time on this crap, and I'm going to send you my emails. Write down by vision integrity. Here's what that means. Jake Frugier is talking about building a $100,000 base shop. Collis Temple talked about building a base shop about 6-9 months ago, Collis, when you started talking about it. But it came to fruition in a reasonable time frame. If Collis Temple keeps talking about $100,000 base shop, $100,000 base shop, $100,000 base shop, and he's still at 20 or 30, after a while people are going to think he has no integrity, or he has, listen to me, no intention in doing what he says, which is no integrity. Does that make sense? See, when you say something, when you cast a vision, people got to know it's at least within striking distance, and they see you going for it, you're making progress, they're going to follow you. That's a leader. A leader does not operate with lack of integrity. So when you say you're going to do something, your people got to see you doing it. So tonight, okay, listen to me, this is real important. I watched Jake, because I was with him the last 2 days. And I watched him when we came, all the time, in between everything he was doing. He was on that phone, blowing a phone, talking to people, emailing, doing all kinds of different things. What's all that crap y'all do? Yeah, I am, at least no texting, okay? Group me and all that kind of stuff, okay? He's doing all that kind of stuff. And then we go to dinner, he's outside, he's doing that. You know why? He was maxing out the crowd today, because he wanted to have 100 people here. Now, did he have 100? He didn't have 100 here. But I guarantee he probably had more than anybody else almost. Maybe probably more than anybody's base shop. Now, how did he do that? But how did he do that? It was intentional. Now, when he talks to his team now about wanting to build a $100,000 base shop, 100 recruits, they're not going to doubt their leader. Why? Because they see him moving toward that in a reasonable time frame. Does that make sense? So when you tell somebody I'm going to be an RVP, I'm making 100,000, I'll make $250,000, I'll make a $500,000, I'm going to build a $50,000 base shop, $100,000 base shop. If they don't see you intense, if they don't see you maxing out every meeting, getting out in the field, all that kind of stuff, you're losing integrity, and that's not what leaders do. Leaders have integrity. They do what they say they're going to do. Okay? To be innovative, which means you create things, you come up with things. You know, you use group me, you bring people to me, you have special me, you get very innovative, and in the other things, you inspire them. How do you inspire people? Think about this. What inspires people? One of the things that inspires people is when people see somebody going for something fanatically. Does that make sense? I had to kind of correct Jake on one of his talks yesterday. He was talking about the madman cycle, and he says, and you got to just be mad, like, "Rrr." And I said, no, I said, no. It's mad like you're insane, like you're psycho, like you're wide open, like you're wild, okay? See, that inspires people. Does that make sense? When somebody sees somebody, and they're going for something, you're trying to get in shape, you're trying to win. See, that's why like Olympic athletes inspire people. Because you got to stay motivated for 4 years for just a little small event. But that inspires people. When you see people on P90X, they got themselves in shape and they're real porker, and all of a sudden they're ripped up, right? Well, you know what? That inspires people. Am I right or wrong? When you see somebody fight cancer and they beat it, or they fight it and they don't beat it, but they fought it, that inspires people. When you see somebody that's a great mama or a great daddy or got a great marriage, that inspires people. Does that make sense? When you see somebody who overcomes a drug addiction or an alcoholism or whatever other thing you might be addicted, that inspires people. Ask yourself, how do you inspire people? I'm not talking about get up in front of a group and run your mouth or that kind of crap. I mean, does your actions really inspire people? Does your actions meet your rhetoric? Does they match? Okay, that's it. And then your role is to move people emotionally to make that vision a reality. You can't tell them, go get them, guys. Go get them, guys. You got to be a part of that. Like today, you got to be with your team, sweating with your team, working with your team, more mobilizing your team, right? And then as a manager role is to develop and implement systems and organizing. See, now this is huge. You do have to get organized. You do have to be a manager. You can't just be a motivated idiot. I mean, I'm serious. I look at Jake, and I'm somewhat enamored because his personality. If you looked at his personality, you would think he was just a train wreck, just happened to get on the right track. You just wow. But the dude's got a plan. He knows what he's doing. He's focused. He's energized. And he's not going to let up. Collis is the same way. He's just kind of, Collis is more like a quiet assassin. But he's going to get you. He will get you. Okay, I promise you he'll get you, right? See, this is critical, right? So they got systems. They organize. They're planning. They're directing. It's not just wing it at the last second. It's organized. Okay, you got to get this. And then as a coach, this is critical. Your job, your role is on an ongoing process is to shape and develop people. You got to shape people, develop people. Now, if your life's a mess, if you can't control yourself, how are you going to develop and control other people? I mean, it's like getting on your kids for acting a certain way and you act that way. You can't do that in big-time leadership. So coaching means developing people through training, observation, feedback, and follow-up. In real time, you got to be with your people. That's why it's so important you're with your team today. Okay, that you don't just see your team somewhere and you're not around them, you're not sitting with them, you don't call them, you're not part of the team. You see what I'm saying? It's real time. You can lead by your feet or lead by your seat. Seat means you sit behind the desk and just tell everybody what to do. Feet means you get out there among your people. That's what the greatest leaders do. You're with your team all the time. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, is everybody with me on that? And so today, once again, this is all about you building your team. This is about being intentional. This is about thinking about what I want my team to look like. I want a very diverse team. I mean, if you look around this room, this is a great example of Primerica. Look around this room. Look at this. You got whites, you got blacks, you got some old people, you got some young people, you got some really good-looking people, and you got some really ugly people. Okay? I didn't even look at you, Charles, when I said okay. But you got everything you could think. Look at the room. This is your business. This is what your businesses should look like. It should be very diverse. You should have every different ethnicity in this room. You should this is business because we represent America. Does that make sense? But you got to ask yourself, and bringing Brett up, what do you want your business to look like? But at the end of the day, what I want you to get out of today is the fact that you are building a business. And you can't build a business by yourself. Okay, I don't know how to say this. You're in the people business. And as soon as you get used to being in the people business, loving people, accepting people, getting along with people, moving people, loving people, valuing people, your business will explode. Until then, it's going to be rocky at best and probably won't make it. We're in the people business, and you're in the leadership business, the coaching business, the managing business of